Do you like to tell stories?
Yes, I like to tell stories and I like to hear stories. So, and if it's hard to do a short story because every time I try to write something, it just gets longer. So, this is Dirtday is one long story that's connected with lots of different parts in it.
Yeah. So, your opinion about European crisis? What do you think people in America about the crisis that we are living in Europe?
Well, you know, I think that we don't get very good news, I have to say, because you can't really understand it until you go there, you know. So I don't think we understand very well the situation. We don't understand it in our own country. Yeah. Everybody's busy doing, you know, and you know, trying to fix their technology and keep up with their technology, and they forget the big picture. So it's a dark picture right now. A lot of people lose their houses and their jobs and live in cities of tents. So there are thousands of cities in the United States now. People just go and they have no more house, no more job, and they go into the woods, and they live in the woods. In Dirtday, I have a little story about, I went to one of these little cities just to see what are they doing? How do they live? They have no money, they have nothing. Some of them are okay. They trade things, you know, you think, okay, it's a primitive bartering system, and they survive.
So it's not only an expert can do with the problem.
That's amateurs. Amateurs can deal with the problem too, but the experts definitely got us into the trouble at the beginning. I'm not a fan of the experts. So, and you know what happens, of course. Who gets arrested? Not the bankers who destroyed the economy of the world. No, the people who get arrested are the ones who say how it happened, you know, protesters and things like this. So we, in the United States, learned a lot last year watching the Spanish indignados, because it was very inspiring to see people stand up and go, well, okay, how else can we organize things? Let's see. But, you know, we live in this crazy time of late capitalism, and you really see the results of what happens when people just want to get more stuff. So.
Politics makes good stories for the music?
Well, politicians are storytellers. They tell you their story. They say how they see the past, they see how they see the future, they tell you about life, and then you vote for the guy whose story you like the most. Do you vote for the true story? I don't know, I'm not sure. It's hard to tell a good story. Sometimes if you tell a good story, you can start a war with the story. You can do a lot of things with a story, so you have to be careful.
In your music, do you think words can change the world?
Workers of the world unite. You know, there have been some great words that have changed the world. Do I want to change the world? I like the world. You know, I like it. I'm not a missionary. I saw my grandmother was a missionary. She went to Japan to convert Buddhists, but she didn't learn any Japanese. Why? You know, so she was singing hymns, you know, about Jesus, and the Japanese are like, what? You know, they didn't know what she was trying to say. So, in the end, it's hard to be a missionary, and is it a good thing? I don't know. I don't like it when people tell me what to do. I say, you don't even know me. Why are you telling me what to do? So I really try not to do that. But I try to ask some questions that are, you know, I hope good questions. That's all. That's all I do. And then the stories just are ways of asking those questions and looking at the world and going, well, what's this? And how's that work? And what's this? And where does this go? Something like this. That's all.
How do you describe your music? do you cross so many things, technology, machines, sounds, and your voice and the words and the video art all in the same space?
The words are the lead part. So the other things support the words. It's like a movie. The soundtrack is not the most important thing. It supports the story. So the music is the same way in my work. It supports the story. It moves the story. It gives it a counterpoint. It gives it another rhythm, another feeling. Sometimes it gives the emotion of the story. But I work in a lot of different medium, and to me they're not so different, you know. I have a show now of very big paintings, you know, super huge paintings. And when I make these paintings, it's like making music. I'm going, you know, it's like bowing the violin, but you're making marks, and you're leaving the marks. So it's a musical experience to me, making paintings.
How does it grow, the process, dealing with all those elements? How's the process?
I try to see where the story is going, and I try not to illustrate it. You know, I try to make the story like very real. You know, so if I'm talking about the tent city, I try to paint a really good picture of the smoke there and people in their tents like this on a rainy day, and what it feels like to be living in the woods, and you hear the chickens around, and it's just very boring. You know, they have nothing. They have no books. They have nothing. So I'm a kind of miniaturist artist. I like to just, you know, do detailed drawings of things, you know, so to make them real. Because I don't know what reality is, really.
And how do you manage on the stage those elements? How it's
I'm like a DJ. I have all of these things, lots of sounds, lots of foot pedals, lots of electronics, lots of different microphones, and so I'm just, while I'm talking, I'm thinking, number 1647, change the foot pedal, change the program, you know, so I have a kind of two-track mind going on like that. But I think every DJ is like that.
What do you like the most? Make music, make photography?
I like everything. It's, you know, I don't have a hierarchy of things I like the best. And
it's the balance of that.
No, sometimes I'll just only do one thing and really obsessively, and then I move to another thing, and it's good because, and my advice to artists is, call yourself a multimedia artist, because then you can do anything, and people won't criticize you if you suddenly make a movie or write a book. I became an artist because it was one of the very few things in the world that you can do in which you're totally free. Nobody tells you what to do, nobody. But sometimes in the art world they say, well, you're a musician, you should do music. You're a painter, you should paint, but don't mix them up. This is kind of crazy. This is like, that's the opposite of freedom. Then we're just making shoes, you know, a certain kind of shoes or a certain kind of, you know. So I think it's really important now, especially in a world that's so dedicated to security and to war and to things that are, you know, you should do this, you should do that, very, very strictly organized. It's very important for people to just go, you know, be free and try to not make so many plans all the time. When I was a young artist and just getting out of school, the people who had plans were the ones, they were idiots. You know, we felt sorry for them. We just wanted to dance down the road and do our music and whatever, you know, we didn't have a plan. No plan. I can imagine that now. That's not so easy, because now people have plans and they're very organized. They see what they're going to do after school, and then they're going to get this kind of job and marry this kind of person, live in this kind of house and pay this kind of money and go on this kind of vacation, drive this kind of car, and you're like, then you just die right now because you have, you know, there's no choice. Or so good to make room for just the chance thing that will happen to you. Something falls from the sky and your life changes, you know. So
how do you describe your last record, Homeland?
Well, let's see, that was pretty kind of political. And then I thought, oh, I'm not going to do politics for a while. And then, whoops. Generally, it's not my plan, but generally when conservative groups are in power, I write about politics. And when liberal groups are in power, I do more poetry. So this is just how it happens to be. So now I thought we had a kind of liberal situation, but it's not really like that, you know. So I have more political stuff in my work now.
Do you imagine what does your music makes on people? What's the effect?
Well, I try to make a situation where you're in a state of a kind of a half-dream state, you know, where you can make certain associations, and because I myself don't know the difference really between reality and dreams, not very well, you know, not so well. And so I like this shifting border between these two worlds, because we really live in both, you know, we live in both. And it's, you don't even have to decide now, this is more like a dream or this is really real, you know, because they're really mixed. I like to try to create a place, a landscape, really, where you can go and you walk around in it and you're there. So, and you have some freedom to move in it. It's not, you know, and it's not structured with meters and bars either. It's not chugga chugga chug, chugga 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 chug, chugga 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 chug, chug, chugga chugga chug. It's more like chug chugga chugga chug. You know, this kind of thing. You're like, wait a second. So it's not easy to do a job like sweeping to this music. You wouldn't do a very good job if you're sweeping and listening to. You're better if you're. I mean, I like rhythm sometimes, but generally it's a little bit boring for me, so I don't do it that much.
What's the story behind only an expert can live with the problem?
The experts tell their own story. You know, these experts are, you know, the guys who decided that, you know, they decided that they're the smartest people in the room. That's what they decided. And that you're an idiot. That's what they decided, really. And they'll take your money and gamble with it. And you're like, wait a second. I didn't say you could do that. But, you know, I wrote it because I was angry at this kind of arrogance, you know, that they think they... Now, I'm a capitalist as well. I sell records, I sell, you know, things that I make. I don't have an objection to the marketplace. We sell each other things all the time, our work, so on. But the difference with bankers is that they sell your money. They use your money, and they risk your money to do this. And then when they fall, they want you to fix it. This is crazy. This is, I think we have to change this somehow.
Music is the better way.
Yeah, maybe. It's one way if you just keep it in your mind to see the absurdity of it. It's really absurd, this situation of the world is a very rich place. You know, it has so many resources. It has so much air and food and water. It has enough for all of us. But if some people just take it all for themselves, then it's a real problem. So we really have to cooperate, or we will not live on this planet much longer. You know, of course, then there's Mars. We can always go to Mars.
So about Dirtday, so
yeah.
How do you describe all the songs?
Well, it's a long story. And it goes jumping from topic to topic, such as evolution, dreams, politics, family life, kind of, and the person who's listening makes a path through these stories. So people make different paths. You know, I don't have one story that it's just like that. No, there's lots of ways to go into it, and you wander around and kind of have a good time. So under those stories, there's always music to pull it along. Then sometimes there's violin stuff, nods, and there's one tiny little picture, but not very much of a visual, just a little small image, and mostly it's mental imagery.
So I don't know if you know the city, Coimbra.
I don't. I mean, in one day, when you actually really 2 hours, when you look around.
The sun and the river.
I didn't have any time to sit today. I just come in, broom, you know.
You have to see the river.
I saw the river,
yeah.
But you know, hey, whoop, yeah, okay, there's the river. You know, it's not like seeing the river. It's a beautiful river, and it's also very cool there. I can imagine riding into this hot city a few hundred years ago to come to the university, and you get to the river, and it's so cool and nice. Oh yeah. And I also, you know, the story about that crazy story about the dead queen. Ooh, that's really strange.
Yeah.
Yeah, Inez. Yeah. It's quite a strange image of her on the throne. Ooh, you know, it's like, wow, that's really, you know, we think we were crazy. They were crazy. They were, you know, she could still be queen just because she's dead. That's okay, you know. It's just a minor problem.
So, just one more question. I would like to talk about the story behind the Superman music.
Mm-hmm.
Can you describe the story behind?
Well, again, that was a political song. I wrote it when there was a big failure that happened. At that time, it was a war in Iraq, like all of these wars in the Middle East. Since the last 40 years, we've been fighting in the Middle East. Afghanistan, Iraq, Kuwait, wherever. You know, we just fight everywhere. This is what we do. This is our national industry, war. So we were in one of these wars, and we sent some helicopters in to rescue some hostages. The helicopters crashed and burned in the desert, and everyone was killed. And it was this moment when big technology fails, and you think, what will hold you now if these things are failing? So it was about that. And so, of course, then you have these images of your parents and who you think is going to catch you if you fall, you know, or maybe for some people the government will catch them if they fall. Well, no, they won't. Technology will catch them if they fall. No, it won't. So it was a song about, you know, about that, the failure of technology.